It's coffee time. Oh, that's good coffee. And I hear through the Twitterverse that my friend Sean Plott of Day 9 fame happens to have one of my mugs and used it on the daily. And I thought, what are the odds? Because it just so happens I bought your mug. It's great when people in the same community can help each other out, isn't it? I'm just so happy right now. So anyway, there are a lot of dogs in the house right now. I say that because the cat is not very used to dogs. The cat is barely used to cats. Obviously, he grew up in a shelter. He knows the warm embrace of other cats, but overall, he's just not used to interacting with other animals very often that aren't humans. So, happily, Erin came over and she brought her 2 dogs. We're all kind of like just working today. We're all just having like a big working party tonight. And so we said, you should bring the dogs over because it'll be fun. So she brought the dogs over and we've been cooing and whatever over them. And I knew that the last time that Sherlock met a dog, it was Cootie, Trisha's dog. And Cootie was a little bit too enthusiastic. Cootie was like, oh, animal! And like ran up to Sherlock, and Sherlock was having none of that and was terrified. And so this time I thought to myself, well, I'll sit in the same room as Sherlock and leave the door open. And if they happen to try to come in here, we'll see if we can facilitate that situation. Just to see, because Erin wasn't sure how her other dog Derp would do with cats either. She's never seen Derp with a cat. So she was curious to see whether or not he would immediately get aggressive. So what happened, which really surprised me, is Derp has come into my room. Dickie is too anxious. Dickie hasn't come into my room at all. He's stayed in the living room. But Derp has been all over the house sniffing everything. And he's come into my room over and over and over again. And like sniffed everywhere. Didn't care about Sherlock at all. Like looked over him like 4 different times. Sniffed at everything. Sherlock has like kept a distance but watched him. And I was like, this is good. This is interesting because we know that Derp doesn't immediately get aggressive around cats. And Sherlock isn't running away. Sherlock is just watching. It's like, this is good. This is good first steps. So then, of course, the like 6th time maybe that Derp came into my room, Sherlock was crouched right around the corner on the ground. And I was like, oh, they're going to meet on the same level. They're going to be on the ground together. I'm so excited. So I knelt there so that I was there to, you know, be the moderator. I don't know. But I just kind of sat there and waited until they, like, met each other at the corner. And it was the most hilarious thing ever. Because when I knelt down, they both thought I was kneeling down to, like, pet them. So they both ran over to me, saw each other, froze, and just stood there for so long. And I was like, what's gonna happen? They didn't move. They didn't move at all. I was like, this is so nerve-wracking. This is so nerve-wracking. And then Derp out of nowhere flipped out, ran out of my room, and growled really loudly. And Sherlock was like, ah! And ran away. So now I'm like, I can't tell if there's like a universe where they could get along. I think they could. I think that they could get used to each other. I just think that Derp was like, oh, you're right there. Oh, and then Sherlock was just waiting for him to do something aggressive, and when he did, he was like, nope. But I don't know. I think it's really interesting whenever Sherlock interacts with other animals because he never does. So when he does, when it's cats, he's the overly friendly, enthusiastic one that runs up and wants to be friends so badly. And when it's dogs, he's just like waiting. He's just like, okay. You know, just uneasy the whole time, and I feel so bad. But, yeah. So, that's been going on. But on an amazing note, we made a great dinner tonight. I cooked the veggies a little too long. I did the roasted vegetables with pasta thing. and I can see the amazing potential, but I roasted the vegetables a little bit too long. I think I also cut them too small. So, like, I cut everything the same size, which is what I was told to do, like, to make sure that everything was about the same size, and if everything is the same sort of texture, then it should all cook at the same rate. And so I should be able to do them all at the same time. And I was like, excellent! So everything that I did like, red pepper, yellow pepper, I did onion, I did garlic, and green beans, and etc. Tomatoes, and I just threw them all in the oven. And at 30 minutes in, they looked okay, but they didn't look done. So I said, okay, I'm gonna check them every minute for the next, like, 5 to 10 minutes, and then take them out when they look good. And then, of course, I did what every person who loves computers does, where I sat down and then went, oh, it's been 10 minutes. And I went and looked, and, like, half of them were burned, and half of them were fine. But it was, like, the like, natural sugars and juices from the vegetables was caramelized, so it still tasted really good, but it was still just too far. It was too roasted. So, next time, shorter roasting time. In fact, I might just do the 30 minutes and then just see if it's good, because I would rather have the vegetables be, like, slightly al dente than to have them be caramelized. So, but everybody still really liked it. We ate all of it. And then Ro made chicken piccata. So we had, like, a full-on dinner thing going on here. Erin came over to, like, work on stuff, and we were like, we have food. Do you want food? And she was like, oh, okay. Every now and then, Ro and I both get really intense, where we're just like, do you want to make dinner? Yeah? Okay. And we just make tons of food. But the funny part about that is that every time I think to myself, this is going to be so much food, there's no way that I'm not going to wind up with leftovers. We wind up eating all of it every time. But what can you do? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Did the podcast today. John slept in. Z-snap. I only do the Z-snap because I was like, all right, so we'll finish the podcast at 3, and then I'll do all my videos, because this morning I had stuff that I needed to work on. So it's like, all right, this will be fine. And then he slept in, so we had to do it an hour late. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it'll be shorter than usual. No. We started at 1 o'clock instead of noon, my time. And then 4 o'clock came around, and I was like, well, we're done. And then everybody else in the podcast was like, no, we're not done yet. And I was like, we are, though. It's been 3. I have things to do. Everybody, I felt so bad, because I was so obviously really, really tired. And just, like, I was in one of those modes. This has happened on podcasts before, where I just, like, I can't focus. I can't focus on anything that's going on. Yeah, it was one of those podcasts where I was just, like, thinking in overdrive about all the things that I could be working on. It sounds so terrible. But I was just like, oh, I could be working on this, or I could be doing this, and then they're talking about the dogs in Sherlock. That's really funny. But yeah, so I kept getting, like, tweets and things being like, are you okay? Are you sad? You're very quiet. Are you tired? And I was like, oh, I feel so bad. Yes, I'm very tired. And just, you know, overactive mind. Sometimes people that wind up with a lot of things that they need to do, it's just you wind up sitting there. I'm sure those of you who are in school, you just wind up sitting around going, there's so many things I need to be working on. Guess I'll go on Tumblr. That's like, it felt like the podcast was Tumblr. Like, I was on Tumblr going, I should be doing other things. That was my day. And then got off the podcast and went, oh, I still need to go to the store. So I, like, ran to the store, came back, and was like, okay, now I need to make my videos. This is so disorganized today. Oh, well. I still had fun making my videos, though. My news episode, I had a lot of fun making that. So that's always fun. And yeah, so now I'm just hanging out and I'm gonna play with the dogs. See if the dogs and Sherlock Cat can maybe in some realm get along, because that would be very exciting. But anywho, I'm gonna go. I hope that you guys had an amazing day. Thank you again to Sean for pimping out my show. And I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Mwah!